What's up, YouTube? Hey, I'm going to talk about the Injen cold air intake I just installed in my Corolla XRS. I'm going to start this video with a pull or two. This is a second gear. Here we go, wide open throttle. Another one of those, then I'll pull back and talk a little bit. So that was window shut. This will be window open so you can hear. And here we go. All right, window down, window up, window down. One more here in a second. So I was kind of done with this car. I think the last video I made, I said I'm done. And then lo and behold, I sat around and started reading and thinking, and I found a video by a guy that I've mentioned before. His channel is all from a phone, I think. I think he just sold his XRS. He had it for years and really modded it big time. And his video was, it was a long video. He likes to talk and his conversation is good. So that's a compliment. But he kind of went through all his mods and he, you know, was like, I think the title of the video is it worth it? And, he, in that he, you know, was talking about his different mods and, you know, hey, should you do this? I'm just going to do another second gear pull here. Here we go. And so he got to the cold air intake section, and that was something for me. I had a panel filter, a K&N panel filter, but I just wasn't going full intake just because, to be honest, I have not had a lot of like success in the sense that I think they've really done a lot to the car. And I put probably 15 different intakes of various kinds on cars over the years. Plus, you know, $300 for an intake is like meh. But I trust that guy. I've watched some of his videos and he knows what he's talking about, and he was honest. He said, you know, this mod don't do, that mod do. So when it came to the cold air intake, he said definitely. And so, you know, I was sitting around, I just sold a car and, you know, just, you know, like, all right, I got to do something. It's time to do something. You know, sometimes you just want to wrench. So I sprung for the cold air intake, the Injen, and I will say, as someone who has done a lot of it, and if you've ever watched this channel, you know that I'm not, you know, I'm not making stuff up. I'm very honest about what I like and what I don't like and what I think's worth doing and not doing. And I've never ever experienced a improvement like this from just a cold air intake. So I'm going to 100% say this is an incredible modification that you should definitely get. And I'll talk about that. And I will say this car does have the R9K tune with the lift adjusted from 6,800 down to 6,200 and the red line adjusted from 8,200, I think, to 8,500. And that it's not specific for an intake, but it does help things all across the board. So I say that to say that it's also probably because of that tune, which is tweaks things, that the intake is probably doing a little more than it would if it was just a stock tune. That said, I really think this is a good mod, worthwhile. And so I'll talk about it a little bit. You saw some pulls there. You got to hear the sound. So we'll go through it a little bit here. I'm here in the parking lot of Food Lion. Hopefully I won't get apprehended. And just go through some thoughts. The first thing I'll show you is just looking at the box. Was very impressed with the Injen. This is the box it came in. Actually fit my entire stock intake system in here. So there it is in my back seat, and as you can see, I labeled it because it's gonna go in storage somewhere for whenever I sell this one day. But it's the RD2082P. They also make a 2082 BLK. So this is the polished. The BLK is black. I actually would have preferred that, but the place that I found this for only had the polished, and so it's fine. I don't care that much. I'll show you what this thing looks like, and then talk about all the different situations. Thought about grabbing the head mount, but decided against it this morning. So what we have here is the Injen system, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So it is a cold air intake. First thing to discuss is the price. So this was $280. I got mine on Monkey Wrench Racing. That was the cheapest. I found it on eBay and Amazon for more like $320, $325. But Monkey Wrench had it for $280. And so shipping was free, tax was $20, so it was $300 out the door, which I noticed. I just bought it like a few days ago, like I think Friday of last week, so it's Wednesday now. So it came yesterday, and I like got home from work and knocked out the install real quick. I did notice I went back on his site, just I think his name's Mark, just because I was curious. I wanted to like see if I could find more information about it for this video, and he actually had changed it to $325, so he upped the price $45. So bottom line, you're going to pay, like I've seen these now for $325 to $375, which is way too much for what you get here, in my opinion. But it is well made. It does fit good and fit well, and it definitely has definite results, I would say. So you know, that's the price. Really, guys, the claim for this is 14 horses and 10 foot-pounds of torque. Did I dyno mine? No. Does it feel like it? I'm going to say yes. And again, that's after I've put hundreds of things on different cars over the years. I think my butt dyno is pretty honest and pretty well tuned. And I'm going to say, like, it does feel like 14 horsepower. It does feel like 10 foot-pounds of torque. Like, you definitely can feel it. You know, take it or leave it. But again, I'm not trying to, you know, flatter anybody when I say this or feel good about myself. A lot of times with an intake, you put something on and you know, you hear it more, so you're like, oh yeah, of course it's got more power. But it, you know, it's just like placebo effect, because you're hearing it and it's like you're hallucinating that you're also feeling it. I don't think that's the case. Again, if you look at my channel, I've reviewed tons of mods and said these ones are good, these ones aren't. I really feel like this makes a difference. This makes such a difference that, like, the claim, and if you look at the Injen website, they say 10 horses and 14 foot-pounds of torque. And of course they have dynos, and you know, it's like mid-range, so like around 4,000 RPM all the way up to red line, which is 85 in this car, 8,200 in a normal stock ECU car. But that's kind of when it pulls. So, you know, I had that in the back of my mind, and then kind of like put that out of my mind. It's like, let's just see what we feel here. And I will say, like, right around 4,000 RPM, I was like, oh, okay, it's woken up, definitely woken up. And then when it hits hit lift, and again, I know everyone's, you know, doing all their, like, you know, lift. I'm just going to tell you guys, as like a 50-year-old who's like wrenched on cars a whole lot and like done a lot of stuff, and I think done it right on all the cars I've done, like, it definitely, when you hit lift, it does wake up. It just does this time. So, and again, that's after installing a bunch of cold air intakes over the years and really not being impressed. So I'm going to go with, like, yeah, the performance, like, you definitely notice it. The sound, I mentioned, I'll just walk around a little bit since so you don't get super bored here. But the sound, you heard it in the clips. I did 3 clips there. Hopefully the, you know, quality of the sound came out pretty good. But yeah, you definitely hear it more. Again, when you get into lift, you hear it a lot more, and I like it. It you know, it's kind of the sound I would describe that, like, if someone else is in the car and like if you're under 4,000 RPM, it's like whatever. But like once it gets over that, it's like, oh, there's something, like he did something to this intake. Quality, so this is really thin. I mean, this probably cost them $30 to make all this, I don't know. But you know, it does fit perfect. You do get the nice Injen you know, couplers there. It says Injen on it, that says Injen. This does fit perfectly. All the things, you know, everything fits very, very well. You have the mount there, and you have some stuff that's unneeded, like this. You know, supposedly this will clip into this. It doesn't. There's no way to make it reach. Others have commented the same. So, but still, I mean, the quality's good. It looks good. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to say, you know, the quality, and this is the intake that, you know, it goes down under the headlight here, and you get the filter down there. So it is true cold air going all the way under the headlight into the bumper. So yeah, quality, you know, you know, this is just cheap, very thin, but it fits very well, no issues. So I'm going to say that the quality is good. It's overpriced, but whatever. You know, going back to the horsepower number, 10 pounds, I mean, or 10 horsepower, like really that's cheap. That's like $30 per horsepower, which in the long run, that is very cheap horsepower. $30 for 1 horsepower, you know, times 10, $300 ish for 10. That's pretty cheap. So yeah, it's, you know, it is cheap material, but it fits and you get results. So I'm going to say it's worth it. And then finally the install was super easy. You know, you guys, I haven't finished yet. Like, this is unused, so I just need to, you know, cap that off with something, tuck it under. Probably going to clean this up a little bit here, get a zip tie, and you know, this is all just kind of hanging right now. But you know, install's pretty simple, guys. You take everything apart, and you have one vacuum line here that you're going to cap. They give you a little cap for it, and then this just hangs. And again, I'll probably clean it up and zip tie it somewhere. But you basically just take all the old stuff off and replace it with the new, and you got to remove the bumper battery, but real easy. Again, I did it in probably an hour and a half, start to finish, and that was just like taking my time. So you know, there's lots of different ways to do it. Different people have commented. I would advise, one guy on YouTube said you can actually not even take the bumper off. You just go up from underneath and just pull the shroud, I don't know what that thing's called, but that piece of plastic, that cover, aerodynamic cover, and then you can install the filter. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Just pull the bumper off. You can pull this bumper off so easily and put it back on so easily. It's just 5 or 6 screws underneath, and then a couple of these clips here, and then you pull the headlights. I mean, all that can be done in 10 minutes. If you were like someone that was having like put this on and off to meet emissions, like, yeah, like forget all that, and because you know you're so used to doing it, you could just go up underneath. But if it's your first time and you're gonna just like leave it on here forever, like I am, like just pull the bumper. It again just takes a few minutes to pull the headlights and the bumper. It's a real easy process, very, very simple. You know, disconnect the lights, the fog lights, pull the headlight, and then you got all the room. You can see everything. The only thing I'd really mention with the install that was at all strange in the instructions, there were very good instructions in that box I just showed you. The only thing that was really weird or strange at all was just this. The explanation of this hose here, and basically there's this thing, I don't even know what it is, but it's this thing that's under the headlight, and like they tell you to pull this piece off. It doesn't quite pull off, it's like riveted in. So I just kind of like pulled half of mine off, and then you stick this hose into the hole where that half comes on. And you can look at some other videos, you'll see different people have done it, so I'm not going to show you because it's obviously all together again. But really, other than that, I mean, just if you're watching this trying to get help, all you do is you're under there, you got all this off, and you've got that like some kind of air box, and it's got hoses. You just grab this hose or the piece. You'll see it in the install and instructions, and you just pop out the bottom piece, and then you just take this hose and you just push it into where that bottom piece was, and that's it. And then you just run it up here. No engine code, nothing. Very, very you know, legit install. So that's it. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I would say definitely great mod. I love it. Yeah, this will make me happy for a few weeks until I decide to do something else to it. Probably not. But other quick updates on the car. If you're still watching, I did polish the windshield. That was my last video, and it really made a huge difference with cerium oxide, so you can check out that video. Also, I had to do a clutch in this car a few weeks ago. I was driving along one day, and I shifted from second to third, and looked at the inspection. It's got, you know, a little inspection window. You pull a little plastic cover off, and the clutch like broke in half. So it was time, and it's got a brand new clutch, and put that in there with have a friend who's a mechanic who kind of guided the install, but he made me do all the work and charged me like half price, let me use his lift, and that was the job you never want to do. It took about 9 hours, and it was horrible, mainly because of engine mounts and trying to get the transmission in and out, it was horrible, but I did it. So I've done a clutch now. Not fun, don't recommend it, but it's done. Car's running great. All right, that's my review of the Injen cold air intake for the Gen 1 Corolla XRS. Thanks for watching. Peace to you.